Rishi Sunak is facing calls to address the mounting Islamophobia row involving his party's former deputy chair. Prominent Conservatives are denouncing Lee Anderson for what they call his dangerous comments. Anderson, the Member of Parliament from Ashfield, was suspended from the party after he refused to retract his remarks. He had implied that Islamists had quote-unquote gotten control of Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of the London city. Anderson even added that Sadiq Khan had given London away to his mates. The comments triggered angry responses to the Prime Minister to take internal measures to combat and publicly condemn anti-Muslim prejudice. Tory peer Sayeda Varsi, a cabinet minister in David Cameron's government, said Sunak needs to find the language to call out Islamophobia. Disagreeing with Anderson's comments, Deputy Prime Minister of the UK, Oliver Dowden, said that he did not believe they were intended as Islamophobic. The Conservative Party is divided over Anderson's future, some suggesting that the door might be open for his return. Many have asked Anderson to apologise. However, centrist MPs are resisting Anderson's potential readmission, citing the party's commitment to combating racism in all forms. On the other hand, similar concerns are also rising over Suella Braverman's comments on the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. At the other side, the Labour Party is also facing its own crisis over anti-Semitism, with a member recently making controversial remarks about Israel. All right, for more on this, we're being joined by our correspondent Julia Chapman from London. Julia, the Tory party engulfed in this row over Lee Anderson's comments, and it's now starting to escalate up to the Prime Minister. Give us your assessment on how things stand at the moment.
Well, he has been on the radio this morning denying that the Conservative Party has an Islamophobia problem, and he has distanced himself from Lee Anderson's comments, saying that they were not acceptable, but he hasn't gone as far as describing them as prejudicial or Islamophobic. Now, this is certainly a sensitive time when it comes to politics and ethnic issues. We've seen, as you mentioned, the opposition Labour Party engulfed in anti-Semitism scandals. It has long been accused of harbouring anti-Semitic people inside the party, something that Sir Keir Starmer has taken great pains to distance himself from. But he did have to suspend a candidate in an upcoming by-election over anti-Semitic comments recently. So now that we're seeing the opposing party, the ruling Conservatives, come under fire for what many have accused them of being Islamophobic. Certainly this is the Prime Minister trying not to be seen to be having a similar scandal to the opposition party. And on the radio this morning, he described the UK trying to also distance himself from Lee Anderson's comments as the most successful multi-ethnic democracy in the world, insisting that his party doesn't have an Islamophobia problem and that his party goes to great lengths in order to ensure that prejudice has no place inside the party.
And of course, we are building up to a general election in the UK. Just how much are these issues in both parties in terms of the Islamophobia potential in the Conservatives and of the problems with the Israel-Gaza row in the Labour Party? Just how much of an impact do you assess these are having on the wider public in the lead up to this general election?
There will certainly be some segments of society that view these rows as being quite decisive when it comes to making their decision about who to vote for in the general election that we're expecting to happen later this year. We have seen that because we've been watching Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour Party leader, trying to put himself forward as the future leader of this country. And this is a country that supports Israel. It has the party has been calling for a ceasefire, the Labour Party, but undoubtedly Israel remains a UK ally. So he hasn't wanted to be seen as being too hard on Israel. And that we have seen an impact in the polls in certain predominantly Muslim areas of the country who are starting to see that they don't believe there's a role for them in the Labour Party or a place for them when it comes to putting their votes there. It's difficult to see how this particular row over Islamophobia in the Conservative Party could do Rishi Sunak any favours. He's already struggling quite significantly in the polls, although some suggest the gap could be narrowing, but we're still many months away. So it's very difficult to determine exactly where things stand. But undoubtedly, this is something that neither party wants to be seen to be getting bogged down by. They want to move on from these rows very quickly and ensure that both parties are being put forward as cracking down on both anti-Semitism and Islamophobia.
Julia Chapman, our correspondent, joining us live from London. Many thanks.